Welcome back to Apple Tree Allotment. Down here on Saturday morning, about 10 AM. It's going to be a hot weekend, so down here just for a little bit, and it's going to be, I think it's going to get up to about 39 degrees Celsius Monday and Tuesday. So we need to get some watering done each evening. But today we're come down here to do some harvesting. So we're going to harvest some raspberries, some peas, and also all of the first early potatoes. So we've got the other half of this bed to harvest and all of this one here. So they were Maris barred. I'm not sure what these ones were. I'll have a look at the sign in a minute. So I've brought down a couple of more of these plastic trays to get the potatoes in. They're working well for harvesting. And I've also brought down as much water as I can because we're running out in the water butts. All the ones on the sites are pretty much empty because it's been so dry. So yep, that's today. We're going to get harvesting, and I'll show you what comes up and have a look around. Here's the harvest from half of the first early's bed. So about the same, probably a little bit more than we had in the other half. Again, some really good big potatoes. So yeah, happy with that. We're still eating through the other ones. We've only had about half of them. So I'll add these to the box. There's a couple there there's one that's got a bit of green on that I'll cut out and things, but most of them are pretty good. So I've just smoothed that bed over and we'll replant that maybe next week with beans or something. Now we're going to do this other bed. So we've got the whole bed to do of this one. I want to get them out so I can get them replanted by the end of July with I'm going to do some beans, maybe some beetroot and spring onions. We'll just see what we can get in. But yeah, I wanted to clear these two out, and then the rest can take a bit longer. We've harvested all of the second bed of first earlies. So these were Casablanca in this bed. So we haven't got as many. I'd say probably maybe 2/3 as much out of that bed. And they're all smaller, not sort of jacket size. There's a few in there, more roast potato kind of size, and quite a few little sort of proper new potato sized ones. So still a good harvest. Probably grow more of the Maris barred than I would of these, but I'd probably still grow a bed of these next year. They look nice, look good potatoes. I don't think this bed had quite as good a soil in it, so that might be one reason. So I'll try and improve that over winter or into spring. Yep, so that was the Casablanca ones. The girls picked a load of peas, so there's 2 bowls full of peas there to take home. And this was the other half of the Maris barred bed. So we'd already picked half a couple of weeks ago. And these ones are much bigger, much nicer size. Yeah, it's good. There's a couple in there that aren't looking so good, but on the whole, pretty nice. So it's a good harvest. Picked a few raspberries. Yeah, so in these beds, so now I've still got these peas in there that we planted, but they've really not enjoyed the sun the last couple of weeks. I just can't water them enough to keep them going. So I'm going to re-sow these beds next week after some of this heat, when we get a bit of rain. And yeah, I'll also try and get something in here for the rest of the seed summer. See if we can get anything else to grow. And then towards September, we'll get some green manure in some of these potato beds once the main crops are out. Yeah, it's a good harvest. I'll go home and probably spread out some of these on the table in the garden, just let them cure, sort of harden up a little bit to store better. But we'll be eating these first anyway, so hopefully we'll get through them okay, and they'll store okay. Last year they all did really well, storing them in our pantry, so hopefully I'll do the same. So we've still got our 4 beds of second earlies, so they're starting to look sort of yellow and fall over and everything, so they're probably ready as well now. What I'll do is I'll leave them in the ground, and then maybe a couple of weeks time we'll harvest them, or if not I'll cut them off and just let them sit there. Depends if I want to use the beds or not. See how much we can get in. I think it's going to be quite a long warm summer, might be quite a late summer, sort of late autumn this year, so we might get a chance to get more in. And at the back we've got, I think it's 5 or 6 beds of main crops. We've got 2 there, 2 across the back, 1 there, and then the Charlottes over near the tree. And they're all still quite green, so I think they come out in sort of August time, so they've still got a fair way, good month to go probably. But they're looking all right, so hopefully we'll get some good potatoes out of them. Over here, so we've harvested a lot of these peas. Some of the plants are sort of drying up now. Some of them still look okay. There's a few peas still on there growing, so I'll leave them on there and see if we can get some more in the next couple of weeks. I've started to come up with a plan for this side of plot 2. So over the winter I was going to plant my onions in these 2 beds. So once these potatoes and peas are out, probably plant them in about October I think. So they'll have onions in. We've got the leeks in those 2 beds, so they'll overwinter anyway. And these are doing really well. I'm going to thin these out some more. Put them in. I might put them in some of those long beds actually. Put a little bit there. And the other bed is doing nicely. And then at the back of this bit we've got 3. So the 3 main crop potatoes there, and this one is chard. So next year we'll have the onions, 2 beds of leeks. I'll probably have 2 beds of chard here if these do okay. So I'll grow them in here, and I might transplant some across here, see how they get on. And at the back I was thinking of doing garlic in these 2 beds. But yeah, we'll see what happens, see what when things come out. And over on plot 1 we've had a really good week actually on the all the pumpkins and squash. So over here, so the strawberries are all finished now. They're growing away nicely. They're putting runners out now, so I'm going to start burying the runners so I can get some more plants. So I'll do that a bit later when it's cooler and I can water things in. We've picked a lot of raspberries today, so they're really kicking in now, so hopefully we'll start to be able to pick them. I think they lasted quite a long time last year, so hopefully we'll get some good raspberry picking. The pumpkins, so I think these were blue pumpkins, and some of the other ones I saved seeds from last year. So this bed did have this net on, but I've just took that off today. Yeah, it's all looking really good, starting to trail. So they're looking good. And a couple at the back of that one. I just put this net over here to see if anything will come up under it without getting attacked. But if not, the others can trail over that space anyway. There's already plenty in that sort of area. And these 2 beds are doing the same, doing really well. So hopefully we'll get some really good pumpkins out of these. I'm hopeful for them. Over these beds, this one's at the front here still empty, so I'll do something with that, although it has got a rogue tomato plant growing in it, so I might just leave that and see what happens with it. We've got lots of tomatoes at home that are doing really well, and we've already got some fruit on them, so I think they're going to do okay this year, hopefully. We had a lot of blight last year, so we lost them all last year, but hopefully they'll do okay. Squash in the middle of this bed is doing okay, and these 2 3 in this bed actually now. We've got this one, I'm not sure what this one on the end is, but it's got a nice flower starting to grow on it. So hopefully we'll get something from that. And this one's the green patty pan, which has got a nice fruit on it. It's growing nicely. And we had this one, I put the chicken wire around this one. It was looking a bit sorry for itself, but doing okay now. Quite happy with that. Hopefully that'll take off. Over in the kids' bed, the peas are all sort of dried up now, so we're going to pull them out another day when we come down and replace them with something else. But the corn, the mini corn, is doing really well actually. It's a nice sunny spot, this bit, so I think that might do quite well there. Over on the sort of flower and squash bed, the sunflowers have completely failed over this side. I don't know what. I think something's coming through the fence and knocking them over or eating them. But yeah, that's really failed. But the squash are doing well. We've got a courgette plant, I think, here. This was actually looking really sorry for itself the other day when I came down and watered. But I think that bit of watering perked it up. The one at the back there is looking a bit dry, but it's putting out a nice long trail. So hopefully with a bit of water it'll do okay. And this one's doing okay. I'm just going to try and angle them so they grow over this bed, and they should fill that up really. And then the last bed is the sweet corn bed. So we've still got 35 plants in here. They're looking really nice, growing quite quickly now. Now we're getting some sun. So yeah, they're looking really good. And there are a few pumpkins in here. So there's one here. This was only a little plant last week, but it's coming on well. And there's a big one in the middle there. I did notice there's a couple more that have come up. So one there. And I think there was one at the back as well. And another random tomato plant I've just spotted in the middle there. Yeah, they seem to come from everywhere in this compost. But yeah, that's all looking really nice. So hopefully we'll get some good sweet corn this year, with there being a few more plants and all nicely in a grid. So I think that's us all done for today now. It's about 22 degrees now, so starting to get a bit too warm for working. So what I'm going to do is come back later. I did bring some water down, so I might just tip that into a water butt, and then I can use it later on, and I'll bring some more down. But yeah, it's all looking really good. Really happy with these plants, these leeks, and I did see the chard is starting to come up. So we planted that 2 weeks ago. So just little tiny seedlings. So yeah, hopefully that'll get growing in this nice sunshine. So I hope you enjoyed having a look around today and enjoying this weather, not getting too hot. And yeah, look forward to showing you how it's all doing next week. Hopefully we'll get time to sow some seeds next week and it won't be too hot. Yeah, look forward to talking to you next week.